Right, our local motor factors has decided to stop selling the Mahle oil filter and move all their supply to Bosch. So rather than just accept it and fit Bosch on everybody's car, what I've done is order a range of filters from all the local motor factors to do a comparison over what's inside them and which is the best filter for the car. So we've based it on a 1 litre Ford EcoBoost engine. So we have the genuine Ford filter, we have the Mann, the Mahle, the Bosch, Purflux and a Fram. What we're going to do is have a quick look at how the filter is constructed, then take them apart and have a look on the inside and see how they compare to each other. Right, if we start with the genuine Ford filter, we see you've got a part number on the outside, made in USA. It has the red rubber diaphragm, the anti-drain back. There's a rubber seal on the inside below the threads. Not a lot else to see on that one. Moving on to the Mann filter. We see it's identical to the Ford in every way. It looks as though Mann actually make the Ford filters for them, made in the USA again. Moving on to the Mahle one. Slightly different construction. Has the white rubber diaphragm inside. You can see the filter medium inside the filter, and it has the bypass valve at the bottom that you couldn't see on the other two filters. See if we can get a close up in there. So that's the Mahle. We'll move on to the Bosch filter. Made in Austria, same as the Mahle filter, but there's no visible anti-drain back diaphragm. The bypass valve at the bottom is slightly different, and the filter paper inside looks slightly thinner, but we'll take the filter apart later on and have a closer look at that. Moving on to the Purflux. Again, no visible anti-drain back diaphragm. There is a bypass valve at the bottom. It's difficult to see, but it does have the trademark Purflux filter paper with the diagonal pleats in. And then finally the Fram. Same filter paper as the Purflux, so they do look like the Fram and the Purflux are made in the same factory and just rebranded. So what we'll do is cut them apart and see what's on the inside. Okay, we've dismantled the filters now, so we'll have a look inside, see what they've inside. We have the Mann one. Has the silicone anti-drain back diaphragm. Inside it has a metal spring to hold everything in place. The filter media. And the genuine Ford one. We have exactly the same. Same silicone anti-drain back diaphragm. So the Mann and the Ford are definitely the same filter, so we'll treat those as one from now on. Moving on to the Mahle. have a white silicone drain back diaphragm. Nice quality filter media. A white plastic bypass valve on the bottom, quite strong spring. The Mann and the Ford ones don't have the bypass valve on the bottom. I think it might be incorporated inside, but we'll strip it down later and have a look. Moving on to the Bosch. No drain back diaphragm. The filter media looks slightly thinner than the Mahle. Also has the paper band round to hold it all together. Bypass valve on the bottom is a rubber, black rubber, sprung loaded. Moving on to the Purflux and the Fram. They have the Suggefi crinkle type paper. Both of them. Again, no drain back diaphragm fitted. You have a metal bypass valve on the bottom, spring loaded. Both of those the same, so I'll treat those as the same filter from now on. So what I'm going to do is cut the media out and see how much we've got and of what quality, and see what's inside. Okay, we've taken the filter paper out now, so we'll have a look what's inside. We'll start with the genuine Ford. Unusual construction on the centre housing, not the usual round holes. The ends of the filter paper are held together with a nice metal clip. No bypass valve visible still, but still something unusual inside with a spring, so might have to take the saw to that and have a look inside. Filter paper, we'll weigh and measure that in a while, see what it's got the most filter paper in, or the densest filter paper. So moving on to the Fram and the Purflux one. Regular holes in the centre. Can't quite see on the thing. There is a spring-loaded bypass valve inside. Quite the widest filter paper with the Suggefi type brand. Let's compare it to the genuine Ford one. It's almost 50% wider to give much more area. Then we have the Bosch one. Again, standard looking thing. Ends of the filter held together with a metal clip. Quite thin filter paper on this. It is the lightest. I have weighed it. It's the lightest out of all of the papers. Again, comparing it to the Ford one, it's actually slightly wider than the Ford one. Ford one being on top. And finally, we have the Mahle. Normal filter housing. You can just about see the spring inside for the bypass valve. filter paper. It's the only one that seems formed as a complete circle. There's no visible join in it. Two of the others had a metal clip, and the Sageffi one had a crimped end. So a couple of little differences. So we'll put them apart and see what we've got inside and what's left. Okay, we've taken the filters apart so we can have a quick look at the bypass valves for when the oil's very cold or when the filter becomes blocked, so you still get lubrication around the engine. This is the genuine Ford one. The valve actually sits in the top of the filter. Underneath there, it sits in the neck. It's an unusual design to all the others. There's a spring inside. Very difficult to see on the camera, and a rubber washer. It is incredibly strong to press. It's very difficult to deflect. That's the Ford one. And then we have the Mahle one, which has the white hard plastic valve. It's a very strong spring, so it will take a lot of oil pressure to release that. This is the Bosch one. It is a soft rubber valve, and there's a lot less tension on the spring as well. You can compare the springs side by side. It's very difficult to see. It is a much thinner spring on the Bosch as opposed to the Mahle. And finally we have the Fram and the Purflux one. It's a much smaller in diameter than the others. And it's a metal valve. It's a much smaller spring, about the same tension as the Bosch one. Right, so what have we found from this exercise? The original point of it was to see whether the Bosch filters were as good as the Mahle and how they compared to the genuine article. The area of the filters, the Purflux and the Fram have the largest surface area. The genuine Ford and the Mann have the densest paper, working on grams per square metre, followed by the Mahle filters in third place, the Purflux after that, and the Bosch at the bottom. So which is the best to buy? If it was my money and I was working on a Ford 1 litre EcoBoost engine, it would either be the genuine Ford filter or the Mann as first choice, Mahle as second, due to the anti-drain back valves. Of the remaining three, the Purflux, the Fram and the Bosch, I would put the Purflux and the Fram ahead of the Bosch due to the increased surface area of the filter media, how much more paper you get to filter your oil. And bottom of the pile would be Bosch. So unfortunately in this one, this test, the Bosch hasn't fared very well. So that's me over and done with on these. Thank you for watching all the way through.